Dude.
If you ain't first, you're last.
I love when you do that.
Because we're talking NASCAR.
I jump on you like a spider monkey, Chip.
Dear sweet 8 pounds 6 ounce, just born, baby Jesus.
All right, Rubbin is racing here. We got the
Right.
NASCAR Cup Series standings. Wow, look at Chase Elliott.
Absolutely.
He's a good dude. Joey Logano, great kid, great family.
Okay.
No, I interviewed him like 13 years ago when he had like no stickers on his car.
Okay.
It says he looked like a Fisher Price car, but now he's
So
just
these are the
kicking
standings,
butt.
and the reason we have number 34 highlighted here.
Brad Keselowski. Because it's Pierce's favorite driver.
No, well, Pearce Dietrich is here to comment on the Brad Keselowski situation.
What a debacle.
2 weeks ago, Brad Keselowski was penalized under NASCAR's new rules after his car was said to have modifications to the car that weren't allowed. So what it was exactly, NASCAR is not going to tell anyone. They won't say.
Super secret.
But he was penalized 100 points, leaving him in 34th in the standings, 153 points behind the leader. So with those 100 points that NASCAR took from him for something he did that we're not allowed to know what it was, he would be in 17th, just 4 points behind Kyle Larson. So Larson remains the favorite to win the championship at plus 400. Keselowski plus 6,000 now. Pierce, how confident are you Keselowski can drive his way back up the standings, get into the playoffs, keep his championship hopes alive? Is there any shot here?
No, none at all. He's washed up. He's been washed up for years. And the fact that he had to cheat that much should let us know that maybe he's not that fast. If they're willing to make that kind of modification that results in a major penalty. It happens to everybody. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, all these drivers toward the end of their career, they declined rapidly. And those guys declined rapidly on good teams with good cars. Brad Keselowski took a step down. He's now running for Roush. He's toast. There is no way that he's going to climb out of this hole. 17th, that's probably was his ceiling already.
Dude, there was another penalty last week, though, and this one involved Bubba Wallace, losing his crew chief, Booty Baker, and 2 pit crew members to a 4-race suspension. That's after they lost a tire. That's not good. You need 4 of them on your vehicle.
At all times.
At all times. How important is the crew members and crew chiefs to a driver's success here, Pierce?
It's important to other drivers, but Bubba is just not that good. It's not going to hurt him that much. Booty Baker is not really an elite crew chief. It's not going to be a factor. You only play Bubba Wallace if he's starting in the back or if he's cheap. Outside of the plate races, he's averaging a 26th place finish this season. So this is not really something that anyone is going to be concerned with. It's a new team that he's on. It's a small team that he's on. And really, the only reason this team exists is because Bubba's bringing sponsorship along. It's very similar to the Danica Patrick situation years ago where she had the GoDaddy sponsorship, and so she had a car. Nothing against Bubba. He's a fine race car driver, but there's probably 20 drivers that are better than him, 20 drivers in better cars. He's a lot like, to compare to another sport, like the guy in college that's great. He gets to the pros, and he's just not good at the pro level. That's kind of what Bubba is.
Like a Johnny Manziel.
Oh, yeah, like a...
You know?
Yeah.
There's someone like that.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow's a great example, too. Should have been a tight end.
We said Larson is plus 400 to win the Cup championship. Are you taking him at that number or looking for better odds right now? What do we think?
No, it's nothing against Larson. It's just betting the championship is kind of tough because NASCAR's playoffs are so gimmicky. It's got a strange schedule. You have to avoid the wrecks. There can be artificial cautions, and people don't like to say this, but Kyle Larson won the championship last year. It wasn't because he was the best driver in the best car and he won 11 races. That's all great. But the reason that he won the championship is because there was a late race caution and he had the fastest pit crew. People want to believe that a driver determines their future, but the reality is that over the last decade in the NASCAR playoff system, it comes down to a caution and who has a fast pit crew. So to put money down on the best driver right now, it's just kind of silly because you know that in the end, it's just going to be a caution and a pit sequence that determines the championship. So there's just no reason to make this bet.
All right, let's switch gears here. We got a week off as F1 travels down under to Australia. Lovely accent you have there, New Jersey. Last week, we saw Max Verstappen, I think I nailed that one, take his first win of the season with Leclerc, you do not pronounce the C, finishing second. All right, they're heavy favorites, right, to win next week in Australia and also to win the F1 championship. So who is your bet to win the F1 championship right now?
The bet to win the championship is going to have to be Max.
Okay.
I mean, Max did it last season. He has the experience. Leclerc has the faster car, but the experience from last season and just the driving skill is going to lean towards the Red Bulls and the Verstappen team. It's not the greatest bet because it doesn't pay out that much. If you jump over and look at the Constructors' Championship, that's the bet that I would be eyeing. You can get Red Bull at plus 150, and they're undervalued at the moment because Red Bull didn't get a podium with both their drivers in the first two races, but that was because they had mechanical failures at Bahrain. And then last week, Checo Perez hit pit road right as a safety car came out. So what we should have seen is Red Bull get podiums with both their drivers in the first two races. The opposite happened. Ferrari got it because they've been very fortunate. So you're not going to get this kind of a deal very much longer on Red Bull to win the Constructors. It's going to go into the negative numbers soon. So I would take Red Bull to win the Constructor Championship at plus 150.